Science has explained an enormous amount about the universe. Why apples fall, why stars burn, why your phone can talk to a satellite 200 miles overhead. But there's a shorter list, a list scientists don't like talking about at dinner parties. Real, measured, peer-reviewed mysteries that we have no accepted explanation for. Not we haven't gotten around to it yet. Not religion versus science. Actual gaps in the model, sitting in plain sight, in the middle of fields we think we've mastered. Here are 8 of them, rapid fire. No fluff, start with the biggest one. Everything you've ever seen, every star, every planet, every galaxy, is made of what we call ordinary matter. Protons, neutrons, electrons, the stuff atoms are made of. That stuff is about 15% of all the matter in the universe. The other 85% is something else. Something that has gravity, because it bends light and holds galaxies together that would otherwise fly apart. But it doesn't interact with light at all. It's invisible, untouchable. We've built detectors a kilometer underground, shielded from every form of radiation we know, specifically to catch a single particle of it passing through. Nothing. Decades of searching, and dark matter has never been directly detected. We only know it's there because the math doesn't work without it. As if one invisible thing wasn't enough, there's a second one, and it's even stranger. In 1998, astronomers measuring distant exploding stars found something that broke the model completely. The universe isn't just expanding. The expansion is speeding up. Something is pushing space itself apart at an accelerating rate, and whatever it is makes up roughly 68% of everything that exists. We gave it a name, dark energy, mostly so we'd have something to write in the textbooks. We don't know what it is. We don't know why it exists. We just know it's winning and it's the majority stakeholder in the universe. Add dark matter and dark energy together, and you get an uncomfortable fact. The stuff we actually understand is a rounding error. August 15th, 1977. A radio telescope in Ohio called Big Ear is quietly scanning the sky for anything unusual. For 72 seconds, it finds something. A strong, narrowband radio signal at almost exactly the frequency hydrogen emits. The frequency scientists had predicted an alien civilization would use, specifically because it's the one frequency every radio astronomer in the universe would recognize. The astronomer reviewing the printout circled it and wrote one word in the margin. Wow, nobody has ever explained it. It wasn't a satellite. It wasn't a passing comet. That theory was proposed and later ruled out. Every follow-up scan of that exact patch of sky for decades afterward found nothing. It happened once for 72 seconds and then never again. This one isn't from space. It's from your own backyard during a thunderstorm. Ball lightning is a glowing, floating sphere of light, sometimes the size of a grapefruit, sometimes bigger, that appears during storms, drifts through the air for a few seconds, occasionally passes through walls or windows, and then vanishes or explodes. It's been reported for centuries by thousands of independent witnesses, including pilots and scientists. In 2012, researchers in China accidentally caught one on camera and recorded its light spectrum. That data proved it's real. It's not a hallucination or a trick of the eye. But nobody agrees on what it actually is. Ball lightning has no single confirmed physical explanation, just competing theories, decades apart, none of them fully proven. This one isn't about space or storms. It's about you right now reading this sentence. Neuroscience can tell you an enormous amount about the brain, which regions activate when you see color, how memories get stored, what happens electrically when you feel pain. That's called the easy problem, and it's not easy, but it's solvable with enough research. Here's the part that isn't. Why does any of that produce an experience at all? Why does information processing in 3 pounds of neurons feel like something from the inside instead of just happening the way it happens in a calculator? Philosophers call it the hard problem of consciousness, and after decades of neuroscience, nobody, not one researcher, can tell you why subjective experience exists in the first place. In 1901, divers exploring a Roman-era shipwreck off a small Greek island pulled up a corroded lump of bronze. It sat in a museum, mostly ignored for decades. X-rays eventually revealed what it actually was: a geared mechanical computer over 2,000 years old, built with more than 30 precision bronze gears, capable of predicting eclipses, tracking the phases of the moon, and even the 4-year cycle of the ancient Olympic Games. Nothing built with that level of mechanical complexity shows up again in the historical record for well over 1,000 years. We don't know who built it. We don't know how many were made. We don't know what came before it, because a device this advanced doesn't usually appear out of nowhere. It implies a tradition of engineering we have zero other evidence for. In 2015, a star called KIC 8,462,852, nicknamed Tabby's star, started doing something no other star in the Kepler telescope's dataset did. It dimmed. dramatically, irregularly, sometimes losing over 20% of its brightness in patterns that didn't match a planet passing in front of it. Planets cause small, clean, repeating dips. This was chaotic and much too large. For a few strange years, alien megastructure was a serious, published hypothesis, the idea that something artificial, built by an advanced civilization, could be orbiting the star. Follow-up observations eventually pointed towards something more natural, uneven clouds of dust. But the exact cause of that dust, and why it behaves this way at this one star and basically nowhere else, is still not fully settled. And the last one might be the strangest because it already happened right here. To us, roughly 8 billion years ago on an early Earth, non-living chemistry became life. Molecules that were just molecules started copying themselves, storing information, and using energy to keep existing. That transition from chemistry to biology is called abiogenesis, and it's the one mystery on this list you can't argue is somewhere else in the universe. It's the reason you exist. We have promising ingredients. Experiments back in the 1950s showed that amino acids, the building blocks of life, can form on their own under early Earth-like conditions. But amino acids aren't alive. Nobody has ever observed, replicated, or fully modeled the actual jump from non-living chemistry to the first self-replicating cell. It's the most important event in your personal history, and science still can't tell you exactly how it happened. 8 real mysteries, not fringe theories, mainstream science published in serious journals, sitting quietly at the edge of what we actually know. That's not a failure. That's the map still being drawn. Every one of these is somebody's entire career, right now, trying to fill in the blank. If you want to know the moment any of these get solved, subscribe because when the answer comes, this is where you'll hear it first.